All right, this is Danny. I'm here with the Crypto Show, and I'm talking with Darnell Washington.
Hi there, how are you?
Darnell Washington is a extreme Bitcoin supporter. Wait a minute, no. What's that?
Bitcoin is bullshit.
Bitcoin is bullshit. We love to get other perspectives on the show. You know, we love to hear all kinds of things, and I think that Bitcoiners should actually listen to you, whether they believe you or not, just so that they can get the perspective of what your opinion is, and maybe this is the opinion of other people widely, and this can be our attack vector, and these are the things that we need to fix. So tell me what you think about Bitcoin and why it's not secure.
Well, Bitcoin is the best of the worst, okay? Let's get that started right out of the bat. There are a lot of security and a lot of vetting that's been done behind the Bitcoin technologies, but what I'm really talking about is that cryptocurrency as a whole is really something that I think a lot of people are looking at as their way, the alternative, the next best thing, the next alternative. And you know, it's more of a flash in the pan. It's more of a fad. There's a lot of people who are trying to get into new and emerging technologies. They're trying to do something new. But there's a lot of different challenges that you have with being able to interface not only with blockchain and cryptocurrencies, but the environment. You know, the amount of hacking and the cyber attacks that's going on. It's really, people are not as well educated to being able to use cryptocurrencies and to be able to buy and to trade as they really need to. So my purpose of why I say bullshit on Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is that unless you become formally trained and educated in how to protect your wallets, how to not trust the third-party people who are trying to sell you, but to do due diligence to understand, just like someone should do with the stock market. You know, they should know who they're buying. They should know what are the capabilities of having them being robbed of their transactions. What's the due diligence that you need to do to make sure that your hardware is secure, that you're using to process and to mine Bitcoin and to protect your wallets. That's really what I'm here to do, is to provide a level of education.
And also, like, protecting yourself online. You know, if you're using a credit card, you're opening yourself up to hacking a lot easier than Bitcoin. And not just hacking of, say, stealing that transaction, but stealing your entire identity. And this is where I think that Bitcoin is a great tool, because it's a push payment system rather than a pull payment system. So you're not required to give your social security number, any information, really. You don't need to online. So I think Bitcoin is really a good tool for that. What do you think?
Well, I think that as far as the kinds of protections and controls, and everything is open to cybersecurity attacks and vulnerabilities and identity theft. But one of the things that happens is that there are various levels of controls that are built into the financial industry, such as zero responsibility. The FDIC protects your online accounts and your transactions. For, normal day-to-day people, the FDIC will protect your banking and your checking accounts and your savings for up to $250,000 per. But in the blockchain world and in the Bitcoin world, there's no levels of protection if your wallet gets stolen. Even though you might be able to freeze it or to do other areas, then you're still susceptible to a lot of areas. And the other important part...
Well, now let me... for the consumer, yes, but what about the vendor who is easily susceptible to a chargeback? I can sell you my product and you can be just a jackass and charge it back, and then I'm stuck out. So what about equal protection for the vendor and the customer?
Well, the customers that use debit cards, where people are using that as opposed to using a credit card, are atoning themselves to having the immediate withdrawal from their bank, and unless it was proven to be fraudulent, you don't have any levels of protection. Credit cards are a little bit different because you do have a vendor chargeback capability. But one of the things that I look at as far as the insurability, as far as if you do have fraudulent activity that's detected on your account, identity theft is very prominent and prevalent. But it's not only being used from the financial world with your banking and your electronic transactions, but there have been various data breaches of your health records, your work records, your employment histories, to the point that identity theft and privacy, we almost have to consider it to be a lost art, because once it's gone, you can never get it back. So I think that identity theft, I know that my identity has been compromised at least 5 or 6 different times, and any one of them, that once I have one identity and it's compromised, it can be reused. So I think that my area of the anonymity and the protections that you get by cryptocurrency is somewhat negligible, because the fact is that I don't have any identity that I can hold private anymore.
So we are here at a crypto cannabis conference. How does what you have to say apply to cryptocurrencies and cannabis?
Well, my area is as far as I'm not a consumer of cannabis products.
Neither am I.
I do believe that as far as the legalization of cannabis is something that is on the national agenda and it's on the national radar. And me, myself, I am pro-legalization of cannabis, and I do believe that I can be of good benefit because of the level of education I have in cybersecurity and being able to protect people's, not only their identities, but their data and the information of their customers, to protect them from cyber thefts and data breaches and information pilferage, that I think that we can apply that same technology to the cannabis industry. And because there's just so many people that get caught up in the fad, the cryptocurrencies, which is a fad, and cannabis, I know, is something that's very well entrenched and on its way to becoming legalized. I think that we can help people to usher in a more safe way to have transactions and to being able to protect their money, and that cryptocurrency is not the way to do it.
Well, until it's legal federally, I would argue that it is, especially for people who use who use credit cards.
Yes.
For one, you can't use a credit card in all dispensaries. Some dispensaries actually do have the ability to accept credit cards.
Yes.
I know of one in Aspen. I'm not familiar with what's going on around here, but I don't think that everybody wants to use their credit card because they don't want to have that transaction associated with their bank. Maybe you buy some weed from a dispensary and maybe Chase decides to shut your bank down or report to your job. Those you don't want that out there. So you want an anonymous way to transact digitally. What alternative is there to cryptocurrency to do that?
You mean besides using cash?
Well, maybe you don't want to use cash. Not everybody wants to carry cash.
Well, I think that what happens is that as far as cash being able to be reported, it has something that can be tracked, something that can be regulated, and it can be enforced. If you get robbed of your cash, you can at least report it to someone who will likely do something about it. If someone steals your crypto wallet, you really have very little recourse. So the anonymity of what happens as far as people who want to be discreet, there's other areas, and we can go into a long dissertation as far as about privacy.
If somebody steals my wallet full of cash, I'm not going to get that back either.
Well, not really, but there are people who will go to prosecute and to at least investigate that crime. When your crypto wallet gets stolen and you call the authorities and say, my Bitcoin wallet has been stolen, then
no, they will actually investigate that. That happened 4 years ago at the Texas Bitcoin conference. They were robbed of $30,000, and the FBI did investigate that. The FBI got on it right away and started investigating it, and they tracked it back to someone in New Orleans.
Yes, but what we were referring to is the abilities to really have a high level of prosecution where what they're trying to do, and they have the forensics examiners and the resources to actually go after these, to the area of where, like Visa or a payment card or a credit card industry, they have vast amounts of resources, and they work very closely with banks and law enforcement to do that. Even though there is art of the legal and the law enforcement authorities to enter into areas where they will investigate it, those are very far in between as far as in their levels of investigation, whereas people have a broader sense of being able to investigate financial crimes that occur with credit cards, and there is actually groups that exchange threat intelligence information about people who are doing scamming against the financial industry, and they do have people who do information sharing and analysis on those areas, and they're very small in the crypto industry.
So, well, what advice would you have for people who do intend on using crypto and will continue? I mean, a lot of us, myself included, my income is fully in cryptocurrency at this point.
Okay.
All of my income is in cryptocurrency. I basically abandoned my other business because I enjoy cryptocurrencies. What advice would you have for me or anyone else like that?
Well, I think that you should hire me to come in and to take a look at your cybersecurity posture to make sure that you've minimized your risk exposure and your threats from your mobile phones, your home computing environments, the areas where you broadcast any personal information, or to identify where all your information is currently stored. To make sure that you're not profiled as a high value asset and a target, so that you are going to be able to have multi-factor authentication, token-based encryption, and cybersecurity for your crypto wallet. I think that you should make sure, if you don't already have those things to the level that you're confident beyond a shadow of a doubt, because you have a lot to lose.
I heard what you were saying about Trezor, and I believe it was somebody had bought one Trezor on eBay. Well, the guy didn't change the seed key. Like it wasn't actually Ledger or Trezor who sold that. It was a second party or third party who sold it and kept the seed key.
Yes.
I don't really use those either. I have a Trezor, a Ledger, and a Keep Key, but they were given to me. I actually use something called Billfold, and it's a metal box that I put my seed keys into, and that's what I use. It's offline,
But when you do put your seed keys online to being able to transact it, you risk your systems open to exposure, and that have your devices, have they been trusted? Have they been scanned for interoperability, for malware that could intercept those seed keys over the transmission media of where you broadcast to go from your offline state to your online? Are those communication systems protected to
I
your
guess
host?
Those are things I need to check into. It sounds like you need to start a business where you can help protect people with cryptocurrency and work with them.
Well, we actually already do. And that's one of the areas that I think that even though while we're able to assist people in educating the market as to why cryptocurrencies are bad, that's similar to the areas as far as, we look at being able to protect those that already do and are already heavily invested, such as yourself. But then again, for those people who are new, who are novices to the business, who think that this is a long-term save-all, be-all, I'm just here to educate them, to let them know that there are threats and vulnerabilities that they really should be taken about, and that they can, if the risk posture is that they can afford to lose that money that's in that Bitcoin and fully invested, then I think that that's okay. But if they cannot, they should clearly be educated to this is what a reasonable process that anyone should do before they become involved and heavily invested in Bitcoin.
Awesome. Do you have a name of the service that people can contact? Where can they learn more and maybe reach out to you?
Yeah, the name of our company is Secure Experts Incorporated, and I'm the president and CEO. And we do information security, and we do cybersecurity consulting as well. So we do believe that, we would like for you to be protected. We know that cryptocurrency does have a life. It's living and breathing now. But we know that there's a lot of vulnerabilities about it, and that's why we think that if people don't have those proper security controls and those things in place, I think that Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies is bullshit for those that shouldn't be able to use it.
There you go.
Okay?
Bitcoin is bullshit.
That's right. See the shirt? All right.
All right, man.
Thank you very much.